Alright, we are rounding off our study of topic 12, form, structure, and sense. This is just the basics of SAT grammar. This is the final topic that we're going to go over here. So let's start it off with some subject modifier placement. Subjects must be next to their modifier. So if we have a subject of a sentence, having being asked to write an essay on metaphors in Moby Dick, the white whale for which the novel is named, was a topic chosen by most of the students. Students here is our subject because who's being asked? The students are being asked. Okay, so what's the answer? Well, this is our modifier. This first sentence is almost always the modifier. What's our subject? The students. So that means students must go right next to it, must go right here, and our answer is D. Okay. Now, for our verbs and our subject-verb agreement, we're going to try to keep all of our sentence and passage. It's got to be in one tense, right? We can't have, some parts of the sentence is past tense, some parts is future, whatever, whatnot. All right, and we also need to conjugate. We can't say like they was, it's they were, or he were, right? He is or he was or whatever. All right, got to make sure that that's correct. Now let's take an example question here. Reading fiction, cooking from scratch, and spending time in his garden is some of the ways that Frank relaxes. No, it doesn't make sense. Just think about it in your brain for a lot of these verb things here. Like, does that make sense? Is that the right grammar? If you are an international student and these conjugations are a little tough for you, try looking up some sort of conjugation chart and memorize that before you go any further with your subject verb and your verb agreement. But the answer here is R. Okay. This is present tense. He's currently doing the relaxing, right? They are some of the ways that he relaxes. They aren't. They is not some of the ways that he relaxes, right? They are some of the way. Okay. Your pronoun antecedent agreement. Ensure that pronouns are accurately pluralized. It's basically what this is, right? So, though Dorothy's shoes were red in the Wizard of Oz books, it was changed to red in the movie. It is not an it. There were multiple shoes. So I would say they were changed to red in the movie because they were. It's a plural. These wases don't make sense, right? And she was makes even less sense, right? This doesn't really agree. The shoes are not a she. Okay, English is not a language where nouns are all necessarily gendered. And our last bit here, this is the last part of SAT English. We're at the end here. Plurals and possessives. So plurals require no apostrophe, right? When you pluralize something, you don't need to add an apostrophe. Never, ever, ever add an apostrophe. Even for an abbreviation, let's say you're trying to teaching assistants, TAs, it is TAs. There is no TAs with an apostrophe. It's just TAs. Okay, you never, never add an apostrophe. All right, now singular possessives. Your apostrophe plus S, okay? When you make something possessive, right? When something is the company's, okay? Say like the desk is the company's, you add an apostrophe S, okay? Plural possessive, also apostrophe S, unless it already ends in S, okay? This also applies for this rule. So let's say we have, Vice President Kamala Harris, right? Harris. When Harris has something, you just add an apostrophe. You don't necessarily add an S. Now, in some newspapers, like the New York Times style book, they still add the extra S. But conventionally, we do not need to add the extra S. This is an unusual thing that the New York Times does with their style book. AP will not recommend the same thing. Take a look at this. A boa constrictor can give birth to dozens of live young who will first develop inside they are. They are is what this says here, right? When we expand this. Mother's body protected from predators. This is a usage of the wrong there. Wrong there. Okay? It's the wrong one. Right? They are. It doesn't make sense. Just think about it. Expand the contraction if you need to. And if it still makes sense, put it down in the comments. Make sure that we know. All right, if you need more help with all the different theirs. But which choice modifies the underlined text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English? Our typical question. No change, no, because we know this there cannot be correct, so we can just eliminate that right off the spot. Their mother's body. Well, whose body is it? The mother has possession, all right? The mother has possession. The mother has a singular possessive, so the mother should have apostrophe S. Okay, it should not go after. That doesn't make any sense. It should be apostrophe plus S, which we see here. So the answer is D, and that is the end of SAT English.